Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Camino Cafe. I am thrilled to have you joining us either by video or by our podcast. And I am delighted today to have Fermin Sarasate here with us to share his pilgrimage and so much more. So this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful interview. So Fermin, welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much, Lee. Uh, it's a pleasure for me to stay with you. And sorry to the audience for my English. I will try to do my best.
No apologies. I'm apologizing now for all my mispronunciations in Spanish.
Okay.
So we'll do our best, right? We'll do our best. So I've heard that you grew up around Pamplona. So I just wonder if we can kind of start off with, it seems like a lot of interviews that you'll hear on podcasts is that it's usually Canadians or Americans going over and walking the Camino. And I love that, you've lived there, and I'm so anxious to hear about your Camino. But let's kind of start from, what was it like growing up in Spain?
Uh, well, I had mm, a happy childhood. Lived in a middle class family, and nothing very special. Not many traumas, but everything was okay when I was a kid. And yeah, always going to school with my mates. All of us were boys, and it was a school for boys only. Playground attached to the Camino. And yeah, so if you ask me about the Camino when I was young, I can tell you that yeah, I've seen pilgrims all of my life. Yeah, since
So it was always a part of your life.
well, obviously in the 80s there were no many pilgrims, but
Right.
and they and you couldn't figure out they were pilgrims because their outfits were not like today. I mean, they were in jeans and jackets, and so right now you can recognize them very well because all of them are wearing the best outfit, the best backpackers and everything. No, in those days you could see just a few. I mean, and we were not very I don't know how to say, we were not very conscious about the Camino, actually. I mean, I remember when one of my the father of my friend that did the Camino, and it was like, wow, he has done the Camino. I mean, wow, it's incredible. But nowadays it's the amount of people is it's huge, but in those days just a few people did it, and mainly Spanish. And that was a challenge because, I mean, unless you found a hotel, which was not very usual, I can tell you that you had to figure out a lot of experiences.
I can only imagine. So you finish school, you go on and you become an architect, and you've
Yeah,
got
well,
this life.
that's it. When I was 18, I left Pamplona, I left my parents' home, and then I went to San Sebastian, which is a close city from Pamplona, 100 kilometers close to
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, I studied architecture because, yeah, that was something that I always was interested in, So, yeah.
Okay. And did you specialize in any type of, you were building home, were you designing homes? Were you designing
Well,
corporate kinds of buildings, or what were you doing?
I started at the same time that I was working. I started working in a urban planning studio. Um, I liked it, but the best thing was that I realized that I didn't want to have a boss in my life.
Yeah.
So when I finished the university, then I established the company with one colleague, and we did lots of things. But mm, we were because I loved computers and I love drawing. So we started a company about 3D modeling and 3D visualization. And
Okay.
yeah, and, and then we moved into maps. So
Oh,
those were the days that when Google Maps started. So then
yeah.
yeah, we started working for Google to help them to do the maps in the north of Spain, something like that.
Oh, well, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it sounds incredible. 24 hours working. Well, I was in my 20s, 30s, and I could afford lots of work for not being paid a lot, but it sounded very nice, you know. So yeah, and
Yeah.
but the point is that well, the company got larger, and then I didn't. I was every single day with politicians and constructors. Mm, well, I don't know, meetings and meetings and meetings. So I realized that that was not the point that was not something I wanted to do. And at some point, I quit. I left my company and didn't know what I was going to do, but I did it. And then what happened is
Is
that
that is that what led you to go on Camino and start your pilgrimage?
no, so that well, um, that's when I went to help my mother because my mother wanted to had some renovations at her home, and then
Okay.
I told her, well, I can help you with that. Um, I can move where you live for 1 year, so I can be in charge of all of those renovations, and then I will come back to San Sebastian. And that's what I did. So I spent almost an hour trying to help her to do the renovations of her house. She was going to be a grandmother, and she wanted to do all the renovations before that moment.
Yeah.
And the point is that when I came back to Pamplona and with my mother, then I realized that the one of the places I used to go when I was younger, it was full every single day with pilgrims.
Ah,
People from all over the world having dinner, chatting, laughing. And I said, well, what's going on here? I mean, you know,
right.
this is not what I remember about the Camino, about just one person walking on here on his own. Yeah, I had this curiosity about what was happening there. And at the same time, it was funny because it was in my mother's house, and I one day I was having a look about things that when I was young, and I found a homework that I did when I was 9, 10 years old about the Camino. So and my mother kept it, and I've
Oh,
got it
wow.
here. Yeah, so it was about uh, different places and buildings and things like that on the Camino. So
Oh,
then
wow.
this kind of coincidences started to join together. And at some point, when I finished the work for my mother, then before I was going to move, uh, I decided to do a trip on my own just for one day, for 1 week.
Okay.
So I wanted to go to the Pyrenees, which are the mountains, the border between France and Spain. Then I realized, well, maybe it's going to be risky because, well, no one is going there. I'm going to be on my own. What about if I do the Camino? So from one day to another, I said, okay, let's do this. I took a bus. I went to France, and then I started the Camino just for 1 week. And I
Okay.
say, yeah, and by the third day, I realized that I was going to Santiago, 100%. So then I changed my plans. I had some business to arrange, so I took 1 month for myself, and I did the Camino. And yeah, that's it.
Oh,
So that's the background.
there is so much to unpack here. Okay, let's let's go back to, I love this story of the seed being planted. I mean, here you are as a young kid writing about the Camino, right? So there's always this moment, I feel, for every pilgrim, that there's some point in our lives where the seed is planted and we're going to go at some point. It's there, there's no denying it. And the fact that you also talked in this paper about buildings and, you know, things along the Camino, you know, and how that went with your future career, that is just a heartwarming story in itself.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And then I think, see, another item I wanted to mention that you just mentioned is, you know, how your impression, what you witnessed of the Camino growing, right? From being kind of this obscure thing that people go and walk, doesn't really sound that fun. They're going to be all alone. They're going to be whatever, you know? And then all of a sudden now you come back as an adult and you start seeing all this community and these people having fun and these connections being made. And you're like, wait a minute, this might be something fun to do.
Actually, well, everyone knows the film The Way, right? So one of my friends, girlfriend, told me one day, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to act in a movie. It's a Hollywood movie." And I said, "Okay, good. Well, perfect. Yeah." So
Yeah.
I asked her, "So what is about the movie?" Obviously, she should talk to me about it. It was about the Camino, but I was not very interested about it, because it was okay. Well, that's it. So when I realized after I did the Camino, I saw the movie and I saw her, and then I told her, what is this? You should mention to me that it was about it. I said, yeah, I told you. And so you know what I mean? I mean, I was interested, but not very much in this, like most of the Spanish people. I mean, we don't realize what we've got here. You know,
yes.
I mean, it's bigger than we think it is. I mean, in the sense that a lot of people from all over the world appreciate it much than us, that we are living right here.
I mean, we're all that way about things in our own backyard, right? We sometimes don't realize these treasures that we have literally right next to us. And you know, that's one of the beauties of going on Camino, period, is giving us that space to kind of recognize and see all the beauty around us. It's always there. It's just we're so busy we don't sometimes notice. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. I think we all do that about things within our own localities. But I love how you started off that you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll take 3 days. I'll give it 3 days. And then the Camino bug got you, right? The spirit was there and you start making arrangements. I'm going to go the whole way now to Santiago. So that's that in itself, what a beautiful pilgrim story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning, I thought it was about hiking, only hiking. But when I was walking, then I realized that it was much more than hiking. It was about the people that I was meeting in the 3 first days. I met such amazing people that I said, what? So they come from California, they come from Argentina, they come from all over the world to do this. And I'm going to be only 3, 4, 5 days? No way. I mean, I have to be with these guys till the end, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so set up the stage for me. You and I were joking around. You've become known. You have a little nickname of Pilgrim Number 30. And so for our viewers or listeners who aren't familiar with where you live and your life right now, we'll kind of keep that as a little surprise and we'll let you walk us. So tell me about the stage that led you to becoming Pilgrim Number 30 at Casa Susi.
Well,
what day was this? Was this day 3? Day 4? What do you want?
No. This was day 20. or something like that. It's going to be next. I mean, the 1st of May is going to be our fourth year here together, our fourth anniversary. So what? It was 1st of May, 2017,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and it was well, I met lots of people on the Camino. Some of them were Argentinians, and I love Argentinians, but just for a while. I mean, I love them, but they speak very, very much. I've got really good friends from Argentina. So after spending some days with them, I was walking and I said, well, I think I need to be on my own. So I told them, you know what? I'm gonna leave you today. I'm gonna keep on walking because I need to be on my own. I need some silence for me. And my friends stopped in Villafranca. It's Villafranca del Bierzo, and I continue walking. And then I didn't know where to stop, so I went to an albergue. I didn't like it. I went to another one, and then I arrived to Travadello, and and I entered into the black hole because once I entered, never never left. So yeah,
So many things I want to ask you about this,
yeah.
right? So, where do we start? So the Camino, there's a famous quote that I love that says, the Camino doesn't give you necessarily what you want, it gives you what you need. And the beauty of the fact that that day you chose, something was telling you you needed to walk by yourself, and then you stop at not one, but several albergues until you see Casa Susi. So tell me about that moment.
Well, as I told you, I did the Camino to be on my own. And as I told you, I left my friends to be on my own. Well, what the Camino gave to me was just the opposite.
Just the opposite.
Yeah. So, so I arrived to Travadello, and I went to the first albergue. Didn't like it. Continue walking, and then I saw an Australian flag, but a huge Australian flag.
Yeah.
And a sign, vertical sign, SUSI. That was all. And two ladies sitting on the bench. And one of them, the blondie one, asked me, "Are you looking for an albergue?" And I said, "Yeah." So, yeah, we're running an albergue. Do you want to have a look? And I said, "Okay, why not?" Yeah, I entered, and honestly, I mean, as an architect, I was really impressed about the place. Not about the luxury. I was impressed about the style because, well, first of all, there were single beds, and I spent the last 3 weeks sleeping in bunk beds. So I say, well, this is one point.
This is a good thing.
This is a good thing. The bathrooms were amazing. I mean, I can have my own shower, toilet, and sink for my own. That's another point. And the place, it was I don't know how to say, but feminine. You know, obviously it's an old house. It's 300 years old, but I could see that something was there. I mean, the point is that she asked me if I wanted to stay and to have dinner with her and the rest of the pilgrims, and I said, yeah, why not? I haven't been in any communal dinner before. I always been doing cooking for my own and my friends. We've been, but never with the owner of the albergue. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here. So that's what happened. So I decided to stay. We had dinner, and then the dinner was amazing. So I said, well, this is the paradise, you know. Single bed, good shower, homemade meal, and then I asked her if she wanted to be married with me. I don't know why did I say that. Just a joke, but here we are, 4 years
Was
later.
it a joke?
Well, I don't know. I mean, so I always say the same. Someone was speaking for me because I. But the point is that I mean, this is something very weird, but not at that moment, but the day or the 2 days after, I realized I was going to be there forever. But like something normal, you know, it's so when people ask me, how did you take that decision to stay there and to change your life and blah, 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 and stay with Sue? And I always say, look, it's been very natural. I never had to question if I had to do it or not. I just left the ball rolling. How do you say ball rolling and rolling? And that was all. I mean, yeah.
It was written in the stars, you know, you you stop there and there's beautiful Susie Stevenson and wow. So when at what point can you describe to us when you knew like this is the place, this is the person?
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, when we finished the Camino, because we finished the Camino together, I mean, Ciclos de Albergue, and we finished the 4 days walking together. I arrived to Santiago, and then it was very emotional. I started crying, and I'm not a crying person. And then I realized that, wow, this is overwhelming. Everything is overwhelming here. So I have met this beautiful person. I have done this amazing journey with knowing people from all over the world, amazing people. Maybe this is something real, but I don't know how to say unreal. And is this a bubble or what is this? So then I I I said to Sue, what if I come back to your place just for a week, but not as a pilgrim, just to see
Yeah.
how we feel, but outside of the bubble, you know? I mean, so that's what I did. I mean, 4 days later, when I finished the Camino, I came back to Pamplona, and then I had to arrange more things to be another 7 days outside because I had lots of business to do. And then
Right.
I came back to the albergue to stay with her for a week, and then uh, I that's where I realized that I was really, really happy there and very comfortable. Maybe then I joined another kind of bubble. I mean, the bubble of the hospitalero, you know. But
Right.
I realized that I loved that bubble because it was not only about staying with Sue.
Yeah.
It was about changing of my life completely, 100%. I mean, it was a new job, new couple, new village, living in a I've been living in a city all of my life. So this was about vegetables in the garden, no more telephones with clients, customers, politicians, and blah, blah, blah. It was about having dinner every day with people, and it was about cleaning toilets and bathrooms, bedrooms. So it was, but I think the first days I realized that it was really, really, really good. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see I'm not a specific moment when I decided to stay. It was like one day by day, month by month. Yeah.
So what did your friends and your family think? You know, first off, you started this whole thing, you were only going to walk a few days. And by the
Oh,
end, you're falling in love. You're uprooting your entire life
Yeah,
to
well,
really live on the Camino and make the Camino your entire life. What were they
yeah,
thinking? You know, were they supportive? Were they shocked? Like what's going on? You know, you've lived in a city all your life. Are they looking at you like you're what? You're moving out in the middle of this little
nowhere.
village? Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I guess I've got a curriculum about being a wild bird, you know. So my friends know me that I can do not this kind of thing, but I'm not the person that I don't know how to say. I'm not the person that follows always the straight path. I can go around other places, in the sense that yeah, I've been I love adventures and these kind of things, and so my friends, well, they one of them told me, well, I wouldn't be surprised if one day you tell me you go to the moon. And I say, well, yeah, that's me.
Okay, so
And
they were probably like, of course, this is what he's doing.
yeah. And my mother gave me a lesson, because she told me, well, are you happy there? And I say, yeah. So she told me, so then stay there, which I appreciate very much, because I mean, I can understand a mother knowing that how much effort is to grow up a child, and that child became an architect, and then you can have, these things that in the society makes you be proud. And she said, well, if it's what you want, why don't? So I appreciated her very much for those words. And actually she was right. I mean, it was about feeling my instinct, and yeah, I did it.
So I heard on another interview, I think maybe you did it with Dan Mullins, and you talked about what life was like. And, we're going back before this past year, but, say that first couple of years you're there. And I think you said something about that every night was like a party. Every night was just this amazing pilgrim experience for you as a host. So can you take me to a night that was one of your favorite nights that kind of embodies all of that?
No, we have had quite a few amazing. Well, we have had dramas and humor and love and sadness and happiness and everything, but just I'm gonna tell you about one day that there were, I can't remember how many of them, but most of them were people in their 30s, and there was a Jewish girl that played the guitar, and there was a guy from Afghanistan who lived in Berlin, and there was a guy from Portugal, another French one. So we've got a guitar in our albergue, just in case someone wants to play. And that day, this Jewish girl started playing, and she played like hip hop, something like that. And she
Yeah.
started playing and singing in Jewish, and she sang amazing. Well, and then everyone started singing a song in her own language, and at some point we were dancing in the street in
Oh, wow.
in front of the albergue. The guy from Afghanistan was singing in his own language. The guy from Portugal, I mean, and at that moment I say, wow, all the leaders of the world should do something like this. Yeah, that was a
Wow.
moment. Yeah, Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody should walk the Camino, right? We'd have a much more peaceful world if we could live like that every day and see
My
each other,
goodness. Oh my goodness. I can tell you. Yeah.
right?
We are I mean, that was one of the moments that you realize that all of us are just basically the same
Exactly.
for the good and for
Exactly. And why
the
can't we see that, off the Camino? It's so vivid on the Camino, right? And seeing that. What a beautiful night. Well,
yeah.
when I was speaking with Susie last week, and I said that one of the things that really impressed me when I've followed your Instagram for a long time and your Facebook, and there are so many lovely photos, but there was one photo that really stood out to me. And it's one, this is before I even knew I was ever going to talk to either one of you, right? So, but I remember this photo, and it's of a place setting, and it's just really striking. There's something about the care. We're setting up breakfast. So there's several of the place settings, and you have kind of like the breakfast kind of preset. And I thought to myself, wow, this is an albergue that has a lot of beauty, a lot of love, and a lot of attention to detail. And so I'm mentioning this to Susie, and she says, "Oh, that's all him. That's all for me. That's his doing." So tell me a little bit about it, because I feel like the whole place just has so much style, but it's a very welcoming style, and one that just shows so much attention to detail that it's going to be a great place to stay. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about what goes into that.
Well, the thing is that we had never worked in hospitality, and we are not been training in hospitality. So how can we do the things well as we are? Just like so, we haven't seen the albergue as a business since the beginning. I never seen it as a business. I've seen it as what it is. It's our home. It's we live here, so we consider the pilgrims like our guests. I mean, I'm going to have dinner with them. I just want to have a good time. If not, I'm not going to have dinner with them. Obviously, I just want to be, well, have fun if it's possible. And if not, I want to have a peaceful time with them and knowing and sharing experiences. And so that's why we treat them as our guests, as if they are our family or friends that visit our home. And I'm not saying this because I want to do marketing of our place. It's true. I mean, it's if my friends come here, I'm gonna try to please them as much as I can. Um, and yeah, I mean, apart that, I don't have an OCD, but something similar. So I like things. I'm an architect, and yeah, and Sue is a florist by trade, and yeah, we love aesthetics. We love things being done properly, and I don't know. Today I was putting some stones in the garden just to. We're building a cycling garden,
Okay.
and we've been discussing for the stones for ages. Are we gonna be here or no? Are we gonna be rounded or blah blah blah? So yeah, that's how we are. So
I believe it. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's how we are, and this is our background. Sometimes we have to spend hours just for a stupid thing, and well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, Susie, she was very humble when I mentioned this photo. And she's like, well, those things are all from, IKEA or whatever. But the way you have put everything together, and it just shows me how much care is going in. And that when people come and stay with you, they're not being served a meal. You literally are a part of their experience there. And it just looks beautiful. It looks amazing. So I encourage everyone to go in and look at the photos, because I think it really shows.
Thanks for that. But it's fair to say that we don't do anything special in the sense that it's not luxury. It's just few things because that's one of the basic things you learn of the Camino, that it's simple, just simple things are the most important things. So yeah, we
Yeah.
try to have just a few things, but those few things well done with love, and that's all. Yeah.
So, as a pilgrim, we show up, right? We have this experience where we're staying and then we move on. Tell us a little bit about, what's the life like of, being the host, being the owners of this albergue? What's the work that we don't see? Now that, you've seen it from both sides, right? You were a
Yeah.
pilgrim, you walked, you stayed at all these places, and then now you come back and you're on the other side of things. What are we not seeing? How much work goes into this, and what's a typical day like for you?
Yeah. Well, since you get the rhythm of the work, it's very exhausted. I
Yeah.
mean, people used to be volunteers only for 2 weeks, and they end up saying, "Wow, this is very, um, it's a lot of work and blah blah blah," which I can understand because since we wake up till we go to bed, we're always doing things and doing and doing. I mean, we don't have any moment to stop. But once you get the rhythm, well, then you get used to it. Obviously, it's not affordable to do these 12 months per year
Right.
because it's you would be crazy. But we do it 6, 7 months. But the point is that once you get used to the work, or you realize, or at least I realized that this was about it's more mental than physical.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, well, mental
We
and
didn't see that.
emotional. Yeah, it is. It is absolutely. Well, in our case, I don't know other cases because I know other owners that don't share as much as we share with them. I mean, we have dinner with them every single day,
Right.
and since we have dinner till they go to bed, sometimes we can have lots of experiences. We can share lots of experiences. What I mean is
Right.
that if you like the if you like to engage with the pilgrims, this can be very exhausted because I mean, some people tell you things that never had told to anyone, even their couples or best mates or whatever. Or sometimes just because we are end up singing or dancing or just because you are talking in 6 languages at the same time.
Hmm. Didn't think of
So
that.
yeah. I mean, I speak different languages, and sometimes I don't know in which language I'm speaking. I mean, I go to bed and well, Sue tells me that I speak now in English when I'm dreaming, but sometimes I think in Italian and sometimes in Basque or Spanish. So yeah, it's very exhausted.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't think about that.
yeah. I mean, you cannot imagine how many Koreans or Japanese people we've caught,
Yeah.
and the only way to communicate with them is with your hands.
Right.
So this can be a challenge, you know. I mean,
Wow.
sometimes we've got people that let's put an example. We can have people from Poland, which only speak in Polish and German, and then we've got another German in the table that only speak in German and English, and people that are from Spain that only speak in Spanish. So then I have to translate it, the things that we said in English in Spanish for the Spanish people, and then the English to the Germans, and then the Germans to the Polish. So well, sometimes we don't translate anything, and we smile, and that's all, you know. But yeah, this is it's quite
Wow.
challenging.
When I asked you that question, I honestly was expecting I would get an answer of, we get the breakfast done, and then, we're cleaning, and then we're getting prepping. People are going to start arriving around 2 o'clock, blah, 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 and then we're having to wash up after dinner. But now hearing what you've answered, I just kind of, this thing came over me. I didn't even think about the translating and the mental energy that's going into just communicating. And also I'm thinking where you're located, the Pilgrims have, if you say you divide your Camino in thirds, the first third is usually the physical, right? It's the blisters, the getting the body used to it. And then the second third, you start getting into the mind stuff, the heart stuff that's been going on that maybe you're processing. So you're kind of near the end of that third, maybe kind of getting close to them starting to get to the gift of the Camino's coming, right? Those last 100 kilometers or whatever. So I never really stopped to consider, that you're probably also hearing a lot of stories and experiences and things. And so, yeah, I can't imagine after a night, it must be, you're holding space for a lot, I guess, is what I want to say, for a lot of pilgrims. And that's a lot to deal with on top of the physical work. So
for me, it's the main thing, because cleaning bathrooms, and everyone can do it. You can like it or not. Cleaning bedrooms, everyone can do it. But doing a check-in properly, or try to maintain the figure when you're hearing some kind of stories, that is, I mean,
right?
We're not, obviously, but we're kind of therapists. I mean, I've got lots of respect for therapists,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've been in therapies about like 10 years in groups. And this is the most similar experience that I had when I was, well, actually, I was trained to be a therapist, and I never worked with like that. I just wanted to clean my rubbish. That's what I went to the therapy. But then I became being a kind of therapist, but never use it, that title. I mean, it was not my. But then when I was here, then I said, wow, all of that work that I did before, now it's very helpful for me, because you have to deal with shy people. You have to deal with crying, people laughing, people exhausted, people from all over the world. I mean, obviously, a Japanese is not as an American in any form, and as an European, or as a, well, there are people everywhere completely different, but most of the Japanese are similar, most of the South Koreans are similar, and I can tell you, you have to know how to treat all these kind of different characters and personalities, and that can be very exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you've shared this, because I think it's really good for future pilgrims, to hear this and to know what it's like to, what you're experiencing on the other side of things. And I'm just curious, how do you and Susie take care of yourselves? What's your self-care like? Because that's a lot to handle. And, you're staying up late at that dinner, then you're cleaning up, you got to get right back up to get breakfast ready for everyone. So what kinds of things do you two do for self-care, and to make sure that you're not absorbing all of these stories and, being brought down if there's something hard to hear?
Well, the other day I had a conversation with a Tenderman, and he told me, I'm very jealous about you, because the pilgrims only stay one night. So I have to deal with the same people every single day. I had to hear the same stories and blah, blah, blah. So what I'm trying to tell you is that, yeah, we have to absorb lots of things, but at the same time, we have to know how to leave those things go by,
Mhm.
because the next day another 12 stories are gonna come. So when we finished the day and we are, or one of us are very exhausted, well, the other one tries to hold the other person, but we realize that the next day is going to be completely different. So all the things that I have been today, tomorrow are just history. The point is that it's true that we don't have any holidays scheduled in advance. I mean, we closed when we are exhausted, where the two of us cannot cope anymore. That can be one day every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 2 days every 2 weeks. Sometimes just because. I mean, we try to
Right.
do it when we don't have reservations, and we try to do it as less as possible, because we know the campaign is not 12 months. So um, it's true that we don't have time for ourselves, for the two of us together. Actually, when we are closed from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m., those 3 4 hours, the two of us don't used to talk each other, because we need silence. We need our space. It's the time when we are cleaning or we are doing things in the garden, but on our own. And then uh, who knows what's going to happen at one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's great that you recognize that there's sometimes that, you do have to close and take a break, so that you can show up the ways that you want to show up for the next pilgrims that are arriving. And I think that just shows a lot of compassion and care for your guests, that when like, hey, we've hit a point, we've got to just take care of ourselves for a day, and that's really what being on pilgrimage is about, right? Is recognizing where you are at that moment and what you need, and taking care of what you need, being very aware and very mindful of what's
Yeah,
going on physically and emotionally, right? So,
yeah. It's actually, I mean, that I always say that to the pilgrims, that the, the, the Camino, it's a marathon. I mean, it's not a marathon in the sense, it's not a sprint. You have to arrive if it's possible. So for that reason, you have to deal with your body. You have to deal with your feelings, with your brain, with all of those things. Take it easy, and that's it. For us, it's something similar. I mean, yeah, I can give everything today, but I've got 6 months like today.
right, you
So
got to
yeah,
pace yourself, right? Every day's for you, every day is a stage. You're not walking now, but it's still really a stage every single day. And you got to be
yeah,
ready to take up the next stage, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think a lot of people will be interested in hearing that. I want to switch gears just a little bit. I know that obviously this last year has been not what we had all expected, and that times have been really challenging for so many people in so many ways. And I know, obviously, running your albergue, you haven't had pilgrims. And things have been tough in your village. You're in a small village. You have a lot of elderly residents that live near you. And so it's been a tough time where I mean, Susie kind of described to me where you really haven't gone very many places. You've been kind of hunkered down at the house. And so I know that that's been tough. So I didn't know if you want to first mention that. And then I also wanted to talk about, I know that you've had an extra challenge that's come by, and that's the roof. So let's talk a little bit about that and let people know what's going on there.
Well, um, today I went to buy some potatoes to grow them in the garden. Now you're gonna say, what is going to tell me this guy? But so I was in the shop, and the guy was not there. So there was a woman, and the woman told me, no, the owner is at home with COVID. Okay, it's okay. And how is he? No, no, it's okay. He doesn't have to go to hospital yet. Okay. So there was an old woman there, 90 years old, something like that. And she has told me, I've never been in a war, but this is a war without weapons.
Yes.
So this is how I would describe the last year. I mean, the world is crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna touch wood and not to be in a war ever, but when we had everything, then suddenly we realized that we depend in others.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, we have realized that the health is the most important thing. I mean,
Right.
here in Spain, everyone knows someone that has died. Most of the people here has some relatives or themselves have had the COVID.
Yes.
And yeah, in our village, no one has passed away, but we have had some very difficult cases.
Yes.
So that was the first thing. No? I mean, trying to deal with the health. I mean, things here in Spain have been tough in the sense that hospitals are crowded. So I mean, yeah, you can do lots of things, but you know that the doctor is not available as it was before. So the things have changed a lot here. So that's the
Yes.
first thing. I mean, obviously, lots of people have lost their jobs, and if you talk about us, well, we never expected to be where we are in the sense that because we run the albergue by donations. We're not an established company. We are what you said in English, a donativo albergue.
Right.
We couldn't have any kind of subsidy by the government.
Right.
So yeah, we had some savings, which finished long time ago, and then yeah, we realized that we couldn't go to another country to try to work, or Australia or UK. So then we realized we had to stay here. I tried to find some jobs which were not the best jobs. Let's say this in a kind way. And and the fact that we couldn't see our parents, that we have to be every single day with the phone with them, trying to do their shopping from here online because they cannot get out from home. I mean, the last time I see my mother was like, I don't know, 10 months ago. She lives on her own.
How many months ago?
10.
10. And you're not, how far away are you? How many
5 hours,
kilometers?
5 hours by car, but I'm not allowed to go there.
Right.
So
That's what I was going to say. I mean, how hard is that she's that close,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
allowed to go, and you would be faced with a big fine if not arrested, right? I mean, it's been very serious.
No, no, it's very, very serious. I mean, you cannot take the risk. I mean, some people here had fines because they didn't wear their masks. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and apart the fines is that, I mean, just for the respect of what's happening here, I mean, there's no way to do this. So yeah, this complicated things even more. So yeah, I mean, it's been really tough, and at some point we realized, yeah, we need to fix the roof because, oh my goodness, yeah, I mean, we had to battle with the government, First, because they were asking us to pay taxes even we were closed. They didn't give subsidies. Then we had to deal with our parents, the COVID, blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly we start seeing leaks, one and another and another and another, and I say, what? So yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the point is that the old owner of the village of the house changed the roof, and like 30, 40 years ago, we don't exactly know when was that, but the slates were not good. And last year, the slates started cracking, and then we've got like 40 buckets in the attic. Some days I have to go twice to empty buckets when it's raining. Leaks here in the lounge, in the bedrooms, and everywhere. So thanks God, thanks for the COVID. I mean, the only thing that I have to say thanks for COVID is just because we couldn't go to Australia last winter as we used to go to visit Sue's daughter. Because if we did, by the time we arrived here, the albergue was, I can tell you, completely destroyed.
Oh yeah, all the work that you have put into the place.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a miracle that we had to stay here. Miracle for, I mean, for the roof.
Right.
So yeah, and then the challenge was that we had to change the roof because there's no way to fix it, and then yeah, we realized we didn't have the money, and a miracle happened. The Camino made his magic. I mean, I said to Sue that yeah, we had to change our lives. I mean, we had to sell this place or do something or change the roof. And how, we didn't know. Well, I don't know how many angels we were listening that conversation, but some days later, a pilgrim that met us when he did the Camino. I mean, actually, that it was a couple that didn't stay with us, but spent some time with us. Here, Sue about our roof, and he started doing a campaign, crowdfunding for us, which I
Yes.
was really embarrassed for that because I couldn't cope asking for money when I'm not
Right.
doing anything. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but I said to Sue, okay, if you want to do it, I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to do it or whatever. I mean, let's see what's happening. And my goodness, I mean, that's when we have realized uh, that the more you give, the more you receive, because we have received money from people from all over the world, people that stay with us only one night, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, that are here how we are, our situation, and try to help us. Some of them with a few dollars, some of them with more. Or so that has been, I don't know, a miracle. I mean, if Camino gives you what you need, Camino gave
Yeah.
what we need. So we don't have all the money yet, but we know that we're going to reach it. Yes or yes. I mean, because actually we know we have to do it this year. This has to be done before winter because I don't know what's going to happen with the roof if we don't fix it within another winter. And that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and this is not an inexpensive fix. I think Susie had talked about 60,000 euro or something. It was a very expensive repair. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the point is that the house is it's not a small house. It's not a small house, but it's
Right.
not
Right.
but it's not a low house either. I mean, the scaffolding is 13 meters. So when the builder came here, said, "Hey man, the scaffolding is gonna cost you the same than the roof," and they say, "Well, here we are." So yeah. I mean, it's a huge
Yeah.
amount of money. At the beginning, we thought it was going to be less, but then the council, when we thought it was going to be like 25,000 euros, then the council told us that the building is under heritage, so we have
Yes.
to fix it not in a regular way. We have to do it in the way that they say, but they don't give us any kind of subsidy. Well, not the council,
Um,
but but we apply for a subsidy for a grant. Sorry,
okay.
to the government, and we're waiting for that grant. Let's
Okay.
see if they give us 35% of the amount of the value of the but it's like 50 something. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll do it.
Yeah, it's got to be done, right? And so I will make sure that I will put in the show notes the link to the GoFundMe, because I know that you're still trying to raise the remaining amount. And, I think people that are listening and, people that have stayed with you for sure know why we want to say Casa Susi, right? But I think for those that have not yet gone on pilgrimage or have not had the pleasure of staying there, I think supporting it's an motivo, right? And you have kept, people are coming there and staying for just a donation, and all the love and care and beauty that you've put into this place. We want you to be there when we come back. And we recognize that this has been an extremely tough year. And, this isn't some big money making business going on here. You're doing this as a labor of love. And I think anything that we can do to help you get through this time, that's the Camino spirit, right? And, that Camino angel that started the GoFundMe, pure Camino magic, that's the Camino providing. So I hope that people that are watching today and listening, that they will be touched by all of your stories and will, make a donation, whether, every dollar will help. And so I hope that people will be inspired to do so, because we want you to be there, because I want to come stay. I know there's going to be many, many people from our community that are going to stay with you. So before we end, I could talk to you all day, but we're already over our hour. So I just wanted to say to you, you're a pilgrim in the biggest sense. You grew up in Spain, you walked the Camino. Now you have dedicated really your life to the Camino and to the pilgrims. And so if I was someone that was listening to this interview and I have had the calling to go, but I'm maybe scared to go or just don't know if it's something I should do, what would be the one thing that you would say, yes, this is why you need to do it? How would you encourage them?
Well, because sometimes the magic happens out of your comfort zone. Move on. Move your ass from the couch. if you if you think you cannot do it, or if you think you cannot do it on your own, then you have to do it on your own. If you think you cannot do it with your partner, then do it with your partner. If you think you're too old, then you don't know yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going on your Camino, because I can tell you there are as many Caminos as people. But as far as I've been here and I met thousands of people, no one has regretted to do it. Which I think, just for the stats, I think, yeah, I mean, the only advice I would give is try not to have any expectations. Because expectations are not good in this life. I mean, some people think they're going to change their life after doing the Camino, and not. Some people think that they're going to find their couple, or they're going to be more open, and maybe the Camino gives you the opposite. So my advice is look at me. My expectation was to be on my own. And here I am,
Right? I look,
looking to you.
well, I look at Susie's story, right? You know, she was used to going on luxury vacations. This wasn't her kind of thing. And she goes from thinking she's going to maybe walk 3 days as well, right? Where she's, as long as she's going to get to San Jean, and if she doesn't like it, she'll decide to end the whole thing in Pamplona, right? And then she goes on to walk, what, 7 Caminos, and then ends up relocating to Spain, buying a place, opening Casa Susi as a labor of love, right? So right there, right, changes her life. And now your story of you've grown up there, never really an interest in it, then all of a sudden you decide to go, but you're only going to give it 3 days, and now it's your life. I mean, I don't know, honestly. Probably didn't need to ask the question. I think you and Susie represent all the reasons why people should go. And I think your point of being open, if you had set off and said, I'm going to go and find a partner and I'm going to buy a place and I'm going to whatever, who knows what would happen. But I think having an open heart and being ready to receive what it was going to bring to you has landed you in the perfect place. I think your whole life has prepared you for this. Even when you talked about that you went and trained in therapy.
Yeah.
And now here you sit in this job.
Yeah, and all of my life I was saying, actually, I would like to live in a village. I would like to live in the country, but you, and here I am.
And you are.
You provided. Yeah. Yeah, no, and actually, I want to say that after all of this that is happening all over the world, I mean, people are, well, lots of people are realizing that they have to, how do you say, come back to the basics, to the, maybe, I mean, I'm not against going to a 5-star hotel,
Sure.
perfect, very good. But if you're looking for the basics, I think the Camino is a really good place because it's going to be only the person with a few things in the backpack and not much more than meeting people from all over the world, which is a lot. And yeah, I think only for that reason, I think a lot of people are going to do the Camino even more with the spirit of the Camino.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think we all have so much to process after this year that walking a Camino would probably be one of the healthiest things that people could do. So much healthier than probably going to a resort and having drinks every day. But maybe there's a place for that. But I think being able to walk the Camino you're going to go home transformed in some way. And I think hopefully when we're all able to go back to traveling, we can do that. I know for one that I cannot wait to get back to Spain. And I hope that there is space for me when I do my next walk to stay with you and Susie, because I just consider you now Camino family. And I just so badly want to meet you in person and experience all the things that you've told me about. And I'm just so impressed by what you've done. And again, I will post the GoFundMe link and links to your Facebook page, Instagram, so that people can follow all the things you're doing. You always have lovely photos on there and on what's going on in the village, and it's just beautiful to see. So thank you so much for doing this interview. It has just been a delight for me, and getting to know you and Susie has just been a real gift. Doing these interviews has been the way for me to kind of keep my Camino essence and spirit going until I can get back there. So thank you for keeping everything going so that when things open, that the pilgrims can come back.
I cannot wait to see you here. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a big hug, of course.
Yeah.
And now you're part of.
Hug by then. Right?
Yeah. You're part
Hopefully
of the
no
American. You're part of the game. Yeah, I can. Yeah, thank you very much for all of this. And you have to know, I mean, you and all the people that are going to listen this, and when I talk with people here in Spain, Spanish people, or just my mother, and I say, oh no, I'm gonna have an interview. I said to my mother before, or to some friends, I'm gonna have an interview with someone in the States, and they don't realize uh, what you're doing in these
Yes.
tough days for us. They don't realize how big the Camino is. And I appreciate very, very much what you're doing. Seriously, I mean, you are now supporting the Camino, even you're not doing the Camino. So thank you with all of my heart to all of you.
Well, I wanted to end it, and thank you for saying that. That's very kind. And I wanted to end this with you having a chance to maybe say hi to any family members or fellow pilgrims that you've walked with or pilgrims that have stayed with you, just to give them a shout out and or if there's anyone that you want to give encouragement to, here's your chance, and hopefully they'll see the video or listen to the audio portion.
I don't know if I understood very well. I mean, if I want to say hello to someone or thanks to someone,
Yeah, you say hello to your mom. What's your mom's name?
man, my mom is not gonna watch this because he doesn't speak in English. She's always saying, "Ah, why don't you do something in Spanish?" And I say, "Sorry, it's always in English." No, no, but
Good point. Good point. You can just
no,
translate the whole thing for her.
yeah. No, but
It's just that you want to say hi to, or
no, I want to say, yeah, I want to say hi to all the people that have stayed with us, and because I mean they don't understand, they cannot understand uh, how they have changed our lives, because people think that they change their lives when they do the Camino, but they change the Camino of us as well. I mean, and I
uh,
have to appreciate very much all the people that have stayed with us. And I mean, I'm a completely different person, you know. I mean, thanks to them, and thanks to all the people that are even they haven't stayed with us, have done the Camino before, and because they have done the same for others here, and to all of you that you are going to do the Camino, and you don't realize that it's going to be very helpful for you, and you're going to help others for sure, guaranteed.
oh, well, wow, what a way to end it. Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks, man.
much. And I'm going to end the recording, but let's you and I stay on for just a second. But I just want to say to everyone, please check out the GoFundMe campaign, their Facebook page, their Instagram. It's a great time to start following what's going on the Camino, and hopefully the world is healing and we're headed towards the world reopening and health being restored. And so this will be a great resource for everyone to watch the story as it unfolds. So thank you everyone for watching our video or listening to our podcast. We so much appreciate your support. You listening, you watching keeps all of our Camino spirits strong. And we hope that if you haven't watched it, that you will now do it after seeing this interview. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.